that a hero lies in you. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let her read. Good night.
This city is capable of tremendous community services. Bonnie Coover and Justice Marin.
When I first delighted that that really was what the job was. CUCS has a really wide range of services for all sorts of people who are struggling many different ways, housing related, employment related. I specifically deal with the part of the team that outreaches people who are experiencing homelessness, and they connect them to me for medical services.
When I tell people what I do for a living is I'm a driver. I take blood, and then I help with EKGs. All that's very important, but it starts with the person and the connection. People that are experiencing homelessness and are in dire situations sometimes lose the humanity, and so it's nice to have conversations with people and show them that, like, I see you for who you are, and we'll get through this together.
One of the things that even surprised me about this work that I just didn't even think about before meeting so many people experiencing homelessness is how much trauma there is, that it isn't just, oh, this person doesn't have a home. It's that they've endured things that I can't imagine having to go through. Robinhood has helped CCS with a lot of things. The hugest impact to street medicine has definitely been the van, which I like to call the jet. Before we had the van, getting blood work for somebody or an EKG, or even just the privacy to do an abdominal exam was very difficult and in many cases impossible.
The van becomes a examination room, but it also becomes, a place to be warm, or it becomes like a little coffee shop.
It's changed our work and allows us to do a lot more for people a lot faster.
I can't even keep track of the amount of people that we help a day. But we're out there trying to do the best that we can to serve the people that need it the most. To be a hero, it takes many forms. There's just like there's Batman and Superman. There's many forms of being a superhero and a hero in general, and it's sacrificing all kind of selfish ideas and coming from the good nature of your heart and helping individuals that you see that need to be helped.
I choose to give because my own students took out of their own pocket to give to immigrant families that were impacted by this pandemic. And they inspire me. They inspire me every day, not only to give to them, but to others.
Hi, everyone. As you can see, we are back to work back here in New York, thanks to our incredible and supportive and protective crew.
They're getting us on track because that's what New Yorkers do.
But there's an essential workforce that isn't getting the support that they need.
They're the cleaners, the nannies, the caregivers, the domestic workers who hold this city together.
Our next hero is looking out for them with the Domestic Workers Alliance.
She's a Barbadian immigrant who started out as a nanny and now works tirelessly to support all domestic workers. This hero's name is Allison Julian.
My name is Allison Julian, and I'm an organizer with the National Domestic Workers Alliance. We are organizing for changes in labor laws for all domestic workers. When we refer to domestic workers, we talk about nannies, care providers to the elderly and disabled, and house cleaners. I'm an immigrant. I've been undocumented doing domestic work. I knew that I needed to be a part of something bigger, to be a part of a larger community who were advocating for change. When I learned about domestic worker organizing back in 2002, I immediately got involved. My time is spent directing them to some of the services that they need, from food to housing to questions about immigration. The list goes on. When we heard about the first case of the coronavirus here in New York City, I immediately asked, what about the domestic worker? We knew they would not qualify for the stimulus package. Many of them would become unemployed, and many would not have unemployment. And sad to say, all of those things became our realities. Since the pandemic, my work days have drastically changed. I went from getting about 15 to 20 calls a day to 50, 60, 70 calls a day. The National Domestic Workers Alliance immediately sprung into action in creating our coronavirus care fund for domestic workers. And here in New York City, we've given over $3.5 million to over 7,000 domestic workers who need this cash assistance. Robin Hood Foundation have been so supportive to the National Domestic Workers Alliance, and by extension, thousands of domestic workers here in New York City. This funding through our coronavirus care fund has made a difference in their lives, especially at such a critical time. Donations help because the more money we get, the more money we give. I am so honored to be a Robin Hood hero, and I feel like I get to share this with the thousands of domestic workers that I work for every single day. And if you were sleeping at all on the amazing work that they do every single day, this is a wake-up call, because domestic workers hold New York City together.
My hero during this pandemic, for me, is my first cousin, Anthony Turrent, AKA Lavelle. I love him because he works at one of the hospitals that got hit hardest with this pandemic. So when I got this opportunity to do this, I wanted to bring him forth with it. In life, he is my hero. I just want him to know that.
Thank you. My job at the hospital is to make sure that all the floors are stocked so that the doctors and the nurses have medical supplies so that they could work with for the patients.
He was doing all of this work for the community while my aunt had a stroke.
Even if we wanted to stop, we wouldn't have been able to stop because, you know, for one, it's my job, it's our duty.
He never quit. That never stopped him from doing what he was supposed to do for these people's families. So I admire him. I've never told my cousin this, but I love you so much, man.
I love you too, my dude.
So to me, in the world, in the community, you're a beacon of light. You give us hope.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
We're all New York.
We are all Robin Hood.
My name is Luis Loor, and I'm a resident of Jackson Heights, New York. I choose to show my support by donating to Robin Hood because I believe being a true New Yorker is to help others. Robin Hood has provided platforms to help minorities navigate through these hard times, and that is very important to me as an immigrant.
More than 100,000 of you helped us at our telethon in May, including donations from 49 states and 32 countries. People all over the world were there for us. And we need that because no one knows how long this road actually is. Thankfully, we have people like our next hero who keep fighting no matter what. She's bringing the love of a mother to her entire community with United for Brownsville. She and her family personally fought through COVID, and now she's back supporting the families of Brooklyn. This is Athenia Rodney.
United for Brownsville is a nonprofit organization. We come together every month and we talk about things that are affecting us in the community. I first got involved with advocating in Brownsville through my children. I have 3 children. I have always been very invested in their education. When I was growing up, my mother was not very aware of the educational system here. She wasn't a part of the parent board or any of those things. I always said to myself, when I have kids, that's one of the things that I need to make sure that I do, advocate for my children and those that, like my mother, don't have the voice. They don't know how. At the start of COVID, it was difficult to find food. It was difficult to find PPE. It was difficult to be able to get tested. And I thought, why don't we try to create something in Brownsville where people who are in Brownsville are able to find local resources in a spreadsheet or in a document? It totally exploded. It was just a little idea. Now it's a full database and people are using it every day. During COVID, we're not having that same kind of interactions than what happens to our children. Their social, emotional skills are starting to wane. We tried to move our programs that were in person online.
Good morning. Good morning.
Being able to get people onto the Zoom rooms and then seeing the kids enjoying it and seeing how engaged they are. It's like, wow, you know, we helped to put this together. That warms my heart. We're learning songs with them. We're reading a book with them. They're doing a little bit of engagement, like an activity.
I see children.
You do see children. Being in the presence with her as she's going through the process with the teacher, I get to see that firsthand. And I'm like, okay, like I see your growth.
I can learn from experience of others.
Getting emails and text messages from families saying, thank you, I really appreciated this, or you don't know how much this means to me. We've seen that they're going through something and we're saying, okay, well, here is a way that we've come up with to fix this situation.
Hooray!
We did it. Donations to Robin Hood help United for Brownsville to have more educational support, more food and advocacy support, being able to bring additional people on to the backbone team to be able to complete our mission. Brownsville has risen to the occasion by working in unison. I see a bunch of Black people come together to fight for the good of the people. Once you have an understanding of the system and you're able to be a part of it, that's the best way that you can help change it.
Goodbye.
And now, someone else who's thankful for the great work being done in our city, a true New York legend, Mr. Tony Bennett.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fears and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness. Hide every every trace of sadness, although a tear may be ever so near. That's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile.
Everybody, John Stewart here. I just wanted to say, I feel very hopeful in this moment. Like most of you, I'm having an incredibly normal year. No weirdness at all. But I got to tell you something. New Yorkers are built for this moment, man. We can take this disease. You think COVID can scare us? Have you been to a bodega salad bar? Come on, man. COVID would be too scared to even go in that place. You think I'm afraid of COVID when I've literally dug into, what's the pan with the orange stuff in it that cakes over? I'll eat that right out of the pan. No, we're gonna be fine, man. It can all turn around. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, New York, and we're gonna get there. Together, we can do this.
We gave because we were here in the city. We heard the sirens around us nonstop. And we had just lost a dear friend to COVID. And so when we saw that rise up and saw all the people gathering together to help each other, it was compelling.
Some people will tell you we're down for the count.
New York City is over. You cannot be serious.
Thanks, John. The worst of this crisis is bringing out the best of New York. People from all walks of life are stepping up, just like New Yorkers always do. You're giving your time, you're giving your support, your patience, and strength.
I know we can't see the end of the road yet, but no matter how far away it is, we will get there. Why?
Because New Yorkers are unstoppable, and we do not like to lose.
New Yorkers are strong.
New Yorkers are tough.
But New Yorkers are caring,
Resilient.
Powerful.
New Yorkers will tell you the way it is.
You can't put us down.
Keep pushing to the end.
New York, we are a team. 8 million strong. We know there's still work to be done.
And New Yorkers know that we don't quit until we close it out. Until we close it out.
We're going to get through this together.
We are all New York.
We're all New York. We all New York.
We're all New York.
We are all New York.
We're all New York.
we're all New York.
And we're all Robin Hood.
Who doesn't love a New York comeback story? I'm excited to share a truly remarkable one with you right now. It's about a young man who came to New York from Jamaica 15 years ago as a child of immigrant parents and who had a challenging upbringing and found himself homeless as a teenager. Now he calls that experience a superpower that he uses to help at-risk youth with the Bronx Defenders, a true hero of New York. This is O'Rain Williams.
Being a Robin Hood hero feels so surreal, but it's definitely an honor and a privilege. And to be acknowledged by them and to be called a hero by Robin Hood is just, I'm still soaking it in. Bronx Defender is a public defender office that represents poor people in the Bronx that are not able to afford their own legal and social representative in criminal court and family court. I am a social worker in the criminal defense and the adolescent defense practice. The Bronx Defender represents approximately 20,000 people a year. And this includes my favorite population, which is young people and young adults. I feel like it's my calling to work with and to serve young people. I really believe that the best way you can represent someone is to understand them as a whole. I love the way the Bronx Defender incorporates that in their defense and, present the client as human being in front of the courtroom. And I feel like sometimes that is what the justice system lacks, the ability to see these people as human beings despite, what they're being accused of. When I was 16, I became an unaccompanied homeless youth, which means I'm now homeless without the family connection, without my family. Homelessness is just more than just the idea of just being without a physical home. Like, it comes with such tension, with such heaviness that just has the ability to break families, to destroy families. While all of this stuff was going on, I was still focused on writing college essay, completing my year with a good GPA. I received a call from a college that I didn't even apply to. They saw my story.
I think you could overcome what you put your mind to. You are what you say you are, and not what anybody else say you are. So if you say you could overcome, you can overcome.
And they offered me a position at the college, a full scholarship. I see a lot of myself, a lot of my stories in my clients, especially those who are young and dealing with homelessness, those who are coming from the Caribbean, those who are, in a single parent home. There's definitely an empathy in my vision to just understand my client's story. I feel like empathy is something that you learn through experience, through going through and overcoming. So I feel like what this life experience did for me, it gave me the superpower of empathy. You can't be a superhero and you're trying to save somebody who's being taken in by a quicksand and you're up there flying with your cape. At some point, you have to fly down into the quicksand, and pull that person up. And I feel like that's empathy.
I just want to thank Orain and groups like Bronx Defenders and others you're seeing tonight who are stepping up for our neighbors. Frankly, I'm grateful for anyone lifting a finger during this crisis. Personally, I grew up in public housing, and I know that when hard times hit, that's where they hit the hardest. I've seen firsthand how this crisis can disproportionately slam communities of color. So whatever you're doing, if you're wearing a mask, if you're socially distancing, if you're being responsible and thinking about your community, I thank you and the city thanks you.
I donated to Robin Hood because they recognize and help all of New York's heroes, like my son James, an EMT. He stepped up during this pandemic, just like so many New Yorkers stepped up after 9/11. We were strong and resilient back then, and by helping Robin Hood, we can be smart and caring now. We're all New York, we're all Robin Hood.
Hello, fellow New Yorkers. It's so good to be with you. Virtually, anyway. We are here to celebrate the generosity, the heart, and the heroes that are helping New York fight through the COVID crisis.
And it's fitting that today is Giving Tuesday, which is celebrated around the world. Right now, our neighbors in New York need us to help them stay fed and warm and safe.
So if you can help, go to robinhood.org. And if you need help, go to robinhood.org for amazing programs that can help you.
So this next hero walked into a food pantry at the age of 11, and she saw the power of that pantry to help keep people alive. She started volunteering there when she was 14 years old.
And today she is the associate director of that same pantry, providing food, shelter, and hope to thousands of New Yorkers. This is Tina Rodriguez.
My name is Tina Rodriguez, and I work at Part of the Solution, formerly known as POTS. POTS is a nonprofit social service agency that's mission is to be a loving community in the Bronx that nourishes the basic needs and hungers of all that come to our door. Early on, when I was 10 or 11, my mom started facing drug addictions. She also suffered from mental health problems, which led to her addiction, which led to our food insecurity. There were times when my mom would like cook one can of beans and it was like split up. Like you can tell we were like struggling, but she never like talked about it. We were very fortunate that somebody had told my mom about the soup kitchen located on Webster Avenue. And that's how I was actually introduced to POTS. I started actually as a volunteer. That was my first job. My current role right now is overseeing the emergency food programs, which are both the soup kitchen and the pantry, and overseeing our day-to-day services. We have showers, we have mail services, so you can receive your mail here. We have a medical and dental clinic, clothing program. That one moment that you get to talk to one person and give them that little bit of hope that maybe I can't tell you that it's gonna be 100% great the next week, but for today, we have figured it out. You're welcome. Have a good day. In an average year, POTS will assist over 40,000 individuals with our services. But due to the pandemic, this year we're looking at 2 million plus. 20-something years in the industry, and you know that there's a need, but I've never seen a need the way I've seen it now. When COVID hit, it like really hit home for the Bronx. If you would walk outside, it really looked deserted. And for, a little bit of time, you wondered, where did everybody go? But not where I worked at, right? Like people just kept showing up. And it was like, here's where they are at. Although we have been able to not only stay open, but meet the demands that are coming through the door, we miss the interactions. We miss having them in the building. We miss talking to them. That's the spirit of the organization. It is an honor that they're calling me a Robin Hood hero when the real heroes are them. If they would have never supported POTS, I probably wouldn't even be sitting in this chair. The strength is in the team. And there is nothing more than for me to look at other people and give them not only that respect, but like that hope. Your situation today does not define what you will be tomorrow.
Hello. My hero of the pandemic would be all the first responders that have been taking care of everyone and people who are giving COVID tests and allowing people to come in and check whether or not they have it. I think you guys are doing God's work, and it's really brave, and just hats off to you. You guys are the true heroes of the pandemic, and heroes in everyday life.
What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy.
And I'm Angela Yee.
And I go by the name of Charlamagne the God, who the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Our hero is Erica Ford. Erica, what's happening, Queen? Just taking this time during the pandemic to train our youth.
That's right. She's organized training programs for young people to learn how to disinfect and clean buildings so they can help local businesses reopen.
That's right. And Erica, she's also used her life bus to distribute masks, sanitizer, and food to community. She inspires us and shows us that we have to invest in our young people and our community. So salute to Erica Ford. We're all New York.
We're all Robin Hood.
Hello, I'm Governor Andrew Cuomo. It's a pleasure to be with my friends at Robin Hood once again, even if it's different. And good for you for honoring our first responders and essential workers. I have such a deep respect and admiration for what they did. I remember too well telling all New Yorkers to stay home and be safe, explaining how dangerous the COVID virus was. But in the next breath, I said to our first responders and essential workers, no, not you. We need you to go to work, because you have to drive the bus or operate the train. You have to keep the electricity on. You have to keep food on the shelves. You have to run the hospitals. You have to operate the funeral home. I said to them that they had to show up and put their lives in danger so we could stay home and be safe. The threat of COVID was real. The possibility of death was real. Sometimes there are moments when life lifts a large mirror for you to see your own reflection, to see what you are really made of, your core, your values, your character. COVID was one of those moments. And our first responders, they found their best selves in that moment, and they rose to the challenge. They are special. New York is special. I call it New York tough. Tough, but in a good way, a way that is smart, loving, and unified. They are New York tough, and they are the best of us. We thank them, we respect them, and we love them for what they did. And at the end of the day, New York will grow from this, and we will be stronger for this past year. You can count on it. And now it's my pleasure to introduce a beautiful voice, only matched by a beautiful heart in a beautiful person, my friend, Andra Day.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Brown young virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from a heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing a hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Christ, oh Christ, Christ, the Savior is born.
My, oh my, what a splendid performance. Silent Night, my favorite Christmas carol. Now look, I know this is the Robin Hood Foundation, but this is not Friar Tuck. This is Cardinal Timothy Dolan. It's good to be with you. What a magnificent sight we've seen tonight, right? People from all paths of life, all faiths, all races, coming together for the common good and supporting Robin Hood, which has done so much for our greater New York community. I pray that the spirit we've seen tonight and throughout the trauma of this crisis only multiplies throughout this season. As we all celebrate this season in accordance with our different beliefs, aren't we united in the knowledge that we will persevere? And when we do, we must ensure that all of our neighbors rise with us. So let me wish you joy, peace, and hope now and in the new year as New York, our nation, and our planet rises again.